For 25 years, the Coalition for Fair Employment in Construction has been fighting project labor agreements in the greater Sacramento region. From Sacramento City Hall, the City of Sacramento placing a project labor agreement on most of its work in 2018, to the Sacramento County Board of Supervisors approving a project labor agreement on many of its upcoming airport projects, and everything in between. CFEC is fighting aggressively to keep projects open for all. This video is going to look at a number of the projects that have had PLAs placed on them over the years and the utter catastrophes that have resulted. Over budget, delayed, not opening on time. They do not allow local hires to be hired because the local construction workforce here, as in the rest of the state, is primarily union-free. Problems with the construction, etc., etc. This video is going to look at these projects on an individual basis and demonstrate conclusively why PLAs do not do any of the things that are promised. So we will be spotlighting some of these key projects that have had PLAs placed on them over the years and demonstrating again conclusively how they fail each and every time. UC Davis Health has been planning to expand its ambulatory surgery center for some years now. Early in 2023, the UC Board of Regents approved the design of the building and authorized UC Davis to raise money for the 48X complex, as it's formally referred to. This project was going to be built with fair and open competition, but CFEC has learned that it was told to the chancellor at UC Davis and then eventually to the board that a project labor agreement would be required on this project. Bids that had been sent out without the PLA requirements were withdrawn and new bid specifications were sent out. As a result, and thanks to emails that CFEC has obtained through a Public Records Act request through UC Davis, this caused a one-year delay and an additional $100 million being added to the project. All so that certain big labor special interests wouldn't have to compete against their non-union counterparts in various trades. This is just another example of what project labor agreements bring on top of discrimination, which is inflated cost, delayed construction, and a myriad of other problems never mentioned by PLA proponents. In 2018, the City of Sacramento decided that it needed to renovate and remodel and upgrade its convention center, memorial, auditorium, and performing arts center. Because a project labor agreement for these three projects had been mandated by the City Council, who owe their existence to big labor special interests, the expected cost increases and delays that we would expect did in fact materialize. The convention center, for example, was originally expected to cost $120 million and ended up costing $245 million. It was supposed to open in November of 2020, when in fact it opened almost a year later. Again, common occurrences for any project with a discriminatory and exclusionary project labor agreement. The California Administrative Office of the Courts, which is the group responsible for building new courthouses throughout California, placed a project labor agreement on the Sacramento courthouse in 2017. This project, which is currently underway, is almost a year behind schedule and over budget to the tune of more than $50 million. Again, something that you continually see with project labor agreement covered projects. The Sutter Medical Center in Midtown Sacramento was originally supposed to cost $350 million. It ended up costing $750 million. It was supposed to have been completed in less than 8 years. It wasn't completed for almost 11 years. This project, of course, had a union-only project labor agreement placed on it. During the construction, the original general contractor, Turner Construction, was actually fired due to the cost overruns, something that is not uncommon for projects covered by PLAs. PLAs make it incredibly difficult for general contractors to get the quality construction contractors and subcontractors they need on the project. And with a PLA in place, it is difficult to find the subcontractors needed to keep costs in check. Turner was replaced by Bolt Construction, who was brought on board to help stop the bleeding. Multiple subcontractors ended up suing the hospital and general contractor for not being paid and for a myriad of other problems. Again, all things that are far too commonly found on projects covered with PLAs. The Golden One Center, the Sacramento Kings arena built in 2016 in downtown Sacramento, had an original budget of $477 million. Many non-union construction firms who are all local, along with their workers and apprentices, were planning on working on this project. But when the city of Sacramento caved to then Senator Darrell Steinberg's threat to either place a project labor agreement or not have it exempted from the California Environmental Quality Act provisions, or CEQA, the owners of the Kings and the city council caved and agreed to put a PLA on the project. The price tag for the arena went from an originally estimated $477 million to $535 million when it was completed. The local hire goals for the arena were never met, which is not to be expected because when you place a project labor agreement, thereby making it a union-only project in a city that is almost 90% non-union with regards to its construction workforce, you're forced to hire union workers from outside of the area, which is exactly what happened. These projects and their failures in the city of Sacramento covered with the project labor agreement stand in stark contrast to the city hall that was created in Sacramento for the city in 2005, built on time and on budget with local workers, local apprentices, and local contractors. It was all done without a project labor agreement. As all of these high-profile projects show, project labor agreements do not keep any of their promises. They do not result in projects coming in on time, on budget, and with local employees being utilized. Why? Because they simply can't. When you lock out a majority of the industry that happens to be union-free from bidding your projects and working on your projects, you're going to get increased costs, reduced local hire, and projects that simply aren't being built on time. From the courthouse project to the convention center to the myriad of city projects here in Sacramento that have been failures because of the PLA, we are going to continue to highlight, focus, and shed the light of truth on what project labor agreements actually bring. Thank you for your time, and thank you for watching this video.